Do you want to lose some weight, but you're not sure how? Or maybe you're a runner and you want to improve and wonder if losing some weight could help you in your running journey. People have lost 200, 300 pounds using running as a tool in their weight control and weight management journey. Maybe this is for you. And that's what we talk about today. Weight loss and running. How running can be a great tool in your weight management journey, how losing some weight could benefit your running, and importantly, how can you achieve these goals and maintain these weight goals through running and other helpful habits. And the how is really important here. Sure, it's simple, right? Eat less, work out more. Yeah, simple, but not easy. Losing weight and maintaining that weight loss is one of the most challenging things that one can do. And unfortunately, there's so much stigma around that. That's not helpful. What is helpful is building good habits, and running can definitely be a helpful tool in your journey. Hi, Simon here. Welcome to my channel. I'm a long distance runner, and on this channel, my goal is to inspire you and help you reach your own goal, have your own adventure. And today we talk about one of the most common goals, one of the most common reasons for people to get into running, but also one of the most challenging, weight loss. But that's also a video that could be helpful for people that are runners and they want to improve their running, potentially through weight loss, because there are some disclaimer around that, and I want to provide you the best information possible so that you can use it and improve your running. And for the long-time viewer, that might sound like a different video that I typically do, but on this channel, it's pretty simple. I want to inspire you and I want to help you achieve your goal, whatever these goals are, because losing weight and maintaining that weight loss is not easy. You're effectively fighting evolution. Our body have evolved so that whenever there is food, we eat it, because later there might not be food. It's very much a modern problem that food is so readily available. So let's destigmatize that. Losing weight and maintaining this weight loss is extremely difficult. Yeah, I run 100 miles, but someone losing weight and maintaining that is just as commendable. I think we should emphasize that. It's a beautiful goal, it's a meaningful goal, and I want to provide you tools today to help achieve these goals. Because there's plenty of reason why we might want to lose some weight or control our weight, right? And of course, I will often say lose weight, but really it's about body composition. Think about, the strongest men on earth. They're not exactly light, but they're fit in a different kind of way. So I think first we should not overly emphasize on the weight itself, the number, but think about body composition and think about something that is healthy and can help us achieve our goal. Because at the end of the day, at least for me, one of the important goals here is health. It's the health benefit. But beyond that, it's also associated to day-to-day activity, being able to do what you want to do, being able to play with your grandchild, be able to go on a hike, summit mountain, explore the outdoors, and really enjoy all of these things. Some of the fondest memory that I have in my life is going on hikes with my grandfather, my late grandfather. That's something I will always cherish. But even beyond that, there's benefit in terms of fitness and even performance when you're a runner to losing some weight. There's the obvious danger of overly focusing in an unhealthy way about the weight itself, and we'll talk about that later. But talking with a lot of people, and including myself, sometimes trimming 5, 10, 20 pounds can make a significant difference in your running performance and also your enjoyment of running. It might be less painful for your joint, you might be less out of breath, you can go longer, you can achieve a zone 2 more easily. And finally, sometimes we want to lose weight or maintain a certain weight for aesthetic reason, for the way we look. And I think we should not, we should not hide from that. That's an okay reason. The thing though is that you're beautiful the way you are, and I know it's a cliche thing to say, but overly obsessing about it is not necessarily healthy. And if that leads to behavior that are unhealthy just for the look and getting laid, I think health is more important. But at the same time, if it helps you feel better in your skin, that's something that is beautiful, that's something that is really important. I think these tips will be helpful today. And with all of these great reasons to want to lose and maintain a certain weight, why is it that not everyone is doing it, right? Like, is it that they're lazy? No, let's definitely not think like that. This is not helpful at all, and this is not true at all. Weight loss is extremely difficult, and we need to recognize that. When you're entering a journey of weight loss, you can be very motivated at first, but the thing is that this is something that will be long lasting. You need to go past the point of excessive workout and excessive nutrition control and reach a point that is sustainable. Because the goal is not to lose some weight really quickly and then gaining back up. That's very unhealthy. The goal is to develop habits and way of living that you can maintain. And the way to maintain that is if you can enjoy them. And I think that's where running is such a beautiful tool in a weight loss journey. Running, hiking, being outdoor is very enjoyable. It can be social. You can go, for example, with my wife, we will go together. You can meet some friends. And this is an added benefit that will help you be sustainable on the long run. It's not so much about losing weight at some point. It's about changing your habit, changing the way you're living so that you can be healthy, you can be fit, and you can enjoy life better. I will say very often weight loss, and this is just because it's easier to say, but let's emphasize it. It's not about the number and it's not about weight loss itself. It's about first weight management. It's about body composition. So it's not just lower is better. You need to watch out for that. If you get into a diet that is way too aggressive, you might lose a lot of weight, but some of that weight is muscle mass. And that is something that is not beneficial. That is something that could impair your running. Also, losing weight is easy, or it's not easy, but it's the easier part of that journey. What is really difficult is not to go from a certain weight and body composition all the way down to your target. What's going to be difficult is to maintain that. That's where people fall more frequently because it's easy to be motivated at first and be very stringent about what you do. But if you don't develop good long-term habit, you will go right back up. The goal is not to lose as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible. No, the goal is to do it once and that's it. But sometimes you will slip. Sometimes you will gain some of that weight back. And instead of being too hard on ourselves, it's good to understand that we're not perfect. Sometimes we slip. Sometimes we don't do the right thing. And that's okay. You need to forgive yourself and then act accordingly. Get back to it. So that's a lot of blah blah, I know. And I said I would give you concrete tips and how to use running itself to lose some weight and how it would benefit you in your running journey. And that's what we're going to do now. Now, the concept is simple, but the practicality of it is very complex, and keep that in mind, But the core concept is pretty simple, and there's, I think, 3 angles that you need to focus on. I mean, we typically talk about 2, but I think there's a third one that I want to introduce. The first one is calorie in. What do you eat? How much do you eat? That's pretty important, of course, but by itself, it's not sufficient. It's also how much calories are you burning? So we're talking about total energy expenditure per day. And once you have these numbers, you subtract them, and then you have your calorie delta. Are you in positive or negative? And if you want to lose weight, well, of course, it needs to be negative. It needs to be a deficit in calories so that some of that energy that you ended up burning during the day comes from carb reserve and also from fat tissue. Now, what's the number that you should aim for? Well, I would advise that you consult with healthcare provider. I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just some guy that runs a lot, right? What you will find online are target goals, and it can go from all the way from 250 to way more than that. And what I would advise is something like 250 to 500 calories a day, an average of deficit, and trying to maintain that on the long run. And at this rate, the 250 to 500, we're talking about half a pound to a pound of weight loss per week. That might sound slow to some people, but if you go faster, there's always higher risk of injury, underfueling your workout. So there's a lot of challenge of trying to go too fast. And I think if you take shortcut, very often shortcut are shortcut to failure. And there's different reasons for that, but one of the big reasons I think is that we talked about 2 factors, calories in, calories out. But I think the third factor is about how long can you maintain that? It's about sustainability. If it's a huge deficit, you'll feel miserable. You won't be happy. You won't enjoy the meal you're having. You won't enjoy the workout that you're having. And it's just not something that is sustainable and that you can maintain for a long period of time. We're talking about making lifelong change in our life. We're talking about creating good habit for the future. It will take time to reach your goals. But if you're patient If you're consistent, you will reach that goal and you will stay there. But before we dive any deeper, I need your help. Have you lost some weight? And if so, what do you think was the most helpful? What are tips that you would want to share with other people? I think there's so many beautiful stories out there, so many inspiring stories. And obviously in this case, I don't think I have the most inspiring story. So please share in the comments below. Also, I've recently started a Patreon page. As you know, my goal on my channel is to inspire you and help you achieve your goal. I have a full-time job. This is a hobby. I'm taking my free time to do that, evening, nights, to create this channel. And of course, there's costs associated to that. So I never want my videos to be behind a paywall, basically, because I was a grad student. I was broke before, and I would never have been able to afford videos for training. But I think everyone should have the best tips available. So you have access to the full library. And if you think these videos are helpful, please consider subscribing to my Patreon. It will help the channel keep going. The way I see it, it's a little bit like a tip. You've seen the library. If you think it was helpful, if you think it will help other people, please consider a contribution. You don't have to read, no pressure. I understand we're all in different places and that's totally fine. You can watch my stuff for free. I'm very happy about that. And in fact, we just reached a big milestone with the channel. 26.2 thousand subscriber, which means we're going into the ultra distance. We're going past the marathon. And I want to thank you all for following my journey. So my tips won't focus too much on nutrition, but I think not talking about it will do a huge disservice to the whole concept of losing weight, because you cannot in isolation work out enough and eat crappy food and be healthy. Nutrition provides things for our body, right? The one that we talk about a lot are calories. You need calories, and calories will come from carbs, calories will come from fat and from protein. But food is not just calories. And I think it's very important to remember that. Food provides us a lot of different things beyond calories. You need the protein to build back your muscle, especially if you're starting to run. You need stronger legs. You'll need vitamins, you'll need minerals. These things are important in your diet. It's not just how many calories you eat per day, but also what do you eat that matters. But beyond that too, something that is almost impossible to measure, but it's kind of important, is that food is something that is meant to be enjoyed. It can be social or even by yourself. You can enjoy food. And I think if you would create the perfect formula that would have the perfect nutritional value, but just taste bad, you might be able to do that for a little bit, but eventually you're just not enjoying life. And if you're not enjoying life, enjoying your meals, you're miserable in your weight management journey, at some point you're gonna pop. At some point you wanna have food that is deemed unhealthy. And that's also a stigma or a concept that I don't necessarily like. I don't like the concept of good food, bad food. There's food that provide more nutritional value, but there's also food that maybe doesn't have as much nutritional value, but can bring you happiness. And instead of avoiding them altogether, I think having an awareness of it is more important. Yeah, you meet your granddaughter every Sunday, and you go for donuts together. Man, donut bad, don't do that. Yeah, but it's okay. I'm sure you can squeeze a donut in your diet, and I'm sure dietitian would probably agree with that. You can squeeze a donut in your diet, but you need to find ways for your routine to be pleasant. It's not always fun to work out. It's not always fun to be on a diet and feeling hungry. But there's a difference between it's a little unpleasant or it's straight up miserable. You hate it. You hate your life and you just want to stop. We can do that for a few months. It's New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose some weight, right? Yeah. And I'm going to cut my calories in half. And we can all do that for a certain amount of time, but we're human and we're going to slip. Find a routine that is somewhat pleasant. Find ways to introduce happiness in these things. The other aspect of that, and the other aspect that is related to mental health, is that we focus a lot on what you eat, what you burn, but at least for me, the way I eat is somewhat very related to how I'm feeling in my life. If I'm stressed at work or if I'm feeling depressed, it's okay to have these feelings, right? And to be in tune with that and to recognize that sometimes we eat with our feelings. And binge eating is a thing. And of course, it's something that we should try to avoid as much as possible. And the way to solve binge eating might not be to be hard on yourself, but to recognize that maybe there's something else in my life right now that is problematic. Now, I think that running itself will actually help you for all of the above. And I think that's why, for me, running is such a beautiful tool in a weight management journey. Why running? Why am I so excited for you to try running? Well, first of all, I say running, but I'm lying. What I mean by running is running and or walking and or hiking and or power hiking or even jogging. All the same, right? I won't always say running or walking or jogging, but just so you understand, I don't necessarily mean running. It's the whole spectrum, and that really depends where you are in your fitness journey. We're all at different places. And the more experience you have, I think the more obvious it becomes that we're all at different places. We all started somewhere, and there's absolutely zero shame that for you, running means walking. Yeah, call it running. Really don't mind. That's where we start. That's where everyone starts. Running is very difficult at first. It can be very intimidating. You might think, wow, I cannot run for 2 minutes straight. Like, that's impossible for me. Running is not for me. It's okay. Walk. Walking is totally part of running. And you will quickly find out that running is closely associated to your fitness and to a very large extent to your body weight. If you're overweight, you're gonna struggle running or walking. It's gonna be very difficult. And when you lose weight, you will see the benefit. And that's something that is a reinforcement mechanism that is great. You see directly the impact of your journey. You can quickly see that, wow, in 1 month, I've made so much progress. And it's something that's so much more concrete than what's the number of the balance. So how can you lose weight using running? In a lot of my other video, if you follow my channel, I'll propose a training plan, a straight up training plan. I think in this particular case, it's a little trickier because there's a wide spectrum of where we might be right now, and where you are is really day one of your training plan. So I would highly recommend that you write down something, get yourself a calendar and write down what you're gonna do. So what I would highly recommend is that if you wanna lose weight, yes, it's about the calorie deficit, but the intensity of the workout matters too. And I'm not saying you should not do strength training. You should definitely do some strength session, whole body composition, right? But when we talk about the endurance portion of that, the cardio portion of that, when you do lower intensity, by default, the energy will come proportionally more from fat burning. When you do high intensity, it will come a little bit more from carbs. But the main reason for that is that it's also easier to sustain a lower intensity workout for a long period of time. So what I want you to do is to build good habit. And the best way to build these good habit is to be consistent and to think much more about time on your feet rather than mileage, and definitely not thinking about pace for now. We're talking about exercising 3 to 4 times a week, and if you can do more than that. As I said before, don't be embarrassed or don't feel bad if some of that or most of that or all of that is walking. That's where you're starting. It's helpful if you do it in the morning. Now, I know some people are morning people, some people are evening people. Myself, morning workout is not necessarily what I do. But if you get it done in the morning, it's a good habit. That's what you do in the morning. And concretely, what do you do in these sessions? Well, you can start just walking or running. Again, depends on your fitness. But eventually, what you would want to do is to create these run-walk cycle, where you might run for, say, 1 minute or 2 minutes, then you will walk for 30 seconds, then you will run again, walk again. And doing that will help you go for longer. And that's a tip that people use for 100 mile or 200 mile. And with time, these run or these walk will become more and more enjoyable. It will become the norm. And if you want to make it even more pleasant for some people, what you could consider is joining a run club. Run club can be really intimidating. I'm not a good runner like Simon. Well, first of all, I myself feel like that when I go to a run club. So it's normal to feel that way. But from my experience, most run club will have people of all levels. And you'll find a social group, people that are going through the exact same thing that you're going. Or potentially, that's what they were doing last year. Last year, that's where they were. And they've learned and they've grown, and you will meet them. You'll make new friends that will create good habits. You will be looking forward to that Tuesday morning run. You'll meet people of different levels. At first, especially if you're a beginner, you'll meet people that have more experience than you. But like I said, it's not that they're better than you. It's just that their journey has started before you. So I'm sure that they've learned things that they could share with you. and that you can learn from. We can learn from each other, and the running community is very supportive, and you'll be surprised by how little we judge you. It's not little judgment, it's no judgment. Losing weight is such a beautiful goal, but it also is a very, very challenging goal. Running can help you there. To lose weight and maintain that weight loss, you will need to create good habits. And these good habits, it's not only working out. It's about your nutrition, your workouts, and it's about being happy in those. It's about finding this balance that you can sustain. This is your new way of living, and you will not be able to maintain that new way of living, being healthy, if you're miserable. You're going to learn, you're going to progress, you're going to improve. Because, I mean, can we say it? Running sucks at the beginning, right? Like it's difficult, it's painful, it's not fun. But that's the beginning, okay? Trust me, like that one, you really need to trust me. It becomes pleasant. And then it becomes really fun and enjoyable. And then there's an incredible feeling of you're just gliding, you know, it's a great feeling. Yeah, there's a part before that. I'm sorry about that. But you will get used to it. And then eventually, especially if you go on trail, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to go on trail, running or even just hiking and being out there, beautiful sceneries. You forget that you're working out. Like, wow, this is a workout? Like I'm supposed to suffer? Oh, that's what I forgot. I'm not suffering right now. I'm enjoying this. And eventually it will be so pleasant that you will want to go on run. You will want to exercise. This is just fun. You're doing it for fun. And that's where you reach the sustainability, and that's where you'll be able to maintain that healthy weight and that healthy lifestyle. But this is not today. This is a long-term goal. And this is why losing weight and maintaining it is so difficult. It's because it takes time. And that progress won't always be linear. But if you're patient and persistent, you will reach that. I hope this video was helpful. I hope these tips were helpful. If you have anything to add, any tips you would want to share with people, leave it in the comments below. Thumbs up, share with your friends, and as always, thanks for watching.